Welcome back, Airbnb family. My name's Donnie. I'm a 5-year superhost, and this year we're going to cover probably one of the biggest challenges of starting rental arbitrage, and that is with pitching landlords. So we have an incredible guest here today. It's Mo and Chandni in California, and they have quite an interesting story about how they got from starting with 2 owned properties. Now they have 20 properties in California, one of the hardest places. And of course, now they're also moving to the Midwest. So welcome, Mo and Chandni. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Oh,
Hello,
thank
thanks for
you.
having us.
I love your guys' story because everybody thinks that they're just going to hop into this business, start pitching landlords, and then be a millionaire overnight. You guys have such an amazing story, and I can't wait to get into the details. But could you just give us, a real introduction? Who are you guys? Where are you from?
Sure, yeah. So I'm Mo. I'm from the Bay Area. I was born and raised there, 29 years old. I was I worked in sales for 6 years and found a market. So I ended up moving to the market in Chico, California, close to where she's actually from.
Cool. And I'm Chandni. I am also 29. One of my first jobs was actually being a cleaner, a housekeeper. And from there, I also worked as a leasing agent for apartment complexes, and also worked in sales too.
Oh, I can tell already this is going to be an interesting one. So, did you guys start your first 2 properties, or was it in Chico, the first 2?
It
Yeah.
was so right at the start of the pandemic, we decided to delve into buying homes, and we didn't really know how to arbitrage yet. We had tried, and we just really struggled with getting landlords to say yes. So we hadn't bought Sean's course yet, and we decided to just buy and just do it like the old-fashioned way, I guess. So we bought our first property, and then 4 months later, we bought another property.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you guys were buying properties for the purpose of for short-term rentals.
It was, yeah, that was why we bought them.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, so what made you guys come full circle back to the idea of rental arbitrage?
Well, I don't think I truly understood the business like sense of rental arbitrage until I really started doing it. But I knew that that was the best way to scale up quickly. Like I could see the amount of money it took to start buying properties versus if you could rent. So that was always the goal. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, were you guys buying properties or like value deals where you had to go back in, put some repair value in as well before getting to market?
That's actually something I've always wanted to do. But I didn't want to wait, to be honest with you. And I did some calculations about how much revenue I would generate in the meantime. And it actually didn't make sense to do flips. It made sense to just buy turnkey properties. So all the properties I've purchased are turnkey.
Great thinking. Great thinking. So now you guys have 2 properties, you're getting going, and you guys think, you know what, instead of locking up all this cash in our down payments and our closing costs and whatnot, let's just go revisit this rental arbitrage thing. So if you don't mind me asking, how much would it cost you guys to purchase a property before even getting it to market?
Well, it all depends on what we were putting down. So say if we're putting down 20% on our first home, I think that was about 80K.
Right.
And then I think that includes all the closing costs. So yeah, 80K all out. Then the furnishing was additional 10K on top of that. So it was 90K before we even got started on our first property, which is like, now that I think about it, it's crazy. Like, I don't know if I would do that again, but yeah.
And thank you for being so transparent. The reason why I ask is because we get a lot of people who aren't quite sure which way to go about it, and they may have a lot of capital, and just so they don't have to talk to landlords, they'll think, well, I'll go the traditional, or I'll buy a property. So we'll keep that 90K number in mind, because when we start talking about arbitrage, we'll really talk about how you guys have changed flip the script there. One of the really interesting things you guys have done is you started with rental arbitrage and you guys were really committed, but I know for a fact you guys started with a different course. So what can you guys tell us about that?
Yeah. I won't go into names because I know Sean doesn't like to disparage the other competition, which I think is really respectable. But But that experience, it's crazy, like looking back at how much I spent on that course and what was there. The basics of starting a short-term rental course was there in terms of like how to run it, but how to like lease acquisition was not there. And I had some really embarrassing stories where I would show up to landlords in person in San Francisco and like pitch the idea and just get like physically removed from their house because they just hated the idea so much. And yeah, I mean, knowing how to do things the right way just changed the game for us completely. We noticed how many more positive responses we would get, and just how people were more open to the idea once we changed the way that we pitched it.
That's amazing. We hear, and I know this is one of the bigger name programs too. So what we find is that that's one of the biggest components that are missing from a lot of the competitors. It's truly understanding how to communicate with landlords. What would you guys think about that?
Yeah, that was a big thing. I think, the mentorship course was really, really great for me because Sean was able to really like explain to me how landlords think and like really get into that psychology behind it that I really haven't heard from anyone else before. So having that understanding was really helpful. Me being able to negotiate with these landlords, totally different. Never thought that you could ask for rent free or like multi-year leases or all these other things. So yeah, like really, really changed the game, just understanding the psychology behind it.
Amazing. Shandi, were you afraid at all of reinvesting in another course at the risk of getting burned by another guru?
I think that Mo does a lot of research before he invests. And I think the first time when you purchase a course, sometimes you think like, this is the ticket, this is how we're going to get there. And the fact that he was willing to purchase another course, I was like, okay, like you've definitely done your research. Like, let's go ahead and move forward with this.
That's great. You guys are clearly two cool heads that are coming together here.
Yeah, she's been really supportive the whole way. And I'm really glad to see it's panned out now.
That's amazing. I actually saw a study from Airbnb that the hosts that you generally make the most are the couples who are hosts, as well as for some reason hosts that have sunglasses on in their profile picture apparently somehow raises rates for conversions.
Okay, I need to retake my profile photo.
I know.
Yeah, we need two of you together, both with sunglasses on, and then conversions will go through the roof.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we gave her her own profile, so maybe we could both just have couples photos in the profile.
Yeah.
And then you can't see my eyes in the profile photo then, because I'll have shades on.
I have that same problem, but it's not because of sunglasses. So what's interesting is you guys joined the program and then, proof is in the pudding, but yours was relatively fast. Most of our students, they usually get their first property within 4 to 8 weeks. You were closer to the first 4 weeks and then you moved really fast. Is that right?
Yeah, that was right. So, I had sort of a Rolodex of apartment complexes I wanted to reach out to. And I was really nervous about reaching out to them. But once I bought Sean's course, and I know Sean actually kind of gave me a little bit of shit for doing this. I went straight to the sales course and ignored everything else and just started pitching landlords. I was just ready to go. I don't recommend doing that if anyone's looking to get the course. I think you should really do the whole course because I learned a lot of things later, like pricing strategy that I really wish I knew at the start. But I was just like, screw it. I want to get the dollar value out of this course. So yeah, I jumped right into the sales. I called 20 people like my first week. And a lot of them were very like open to it from the start. A lot of them also said no when I showed up in person, and that was okay. That was a part of the process. I think my first yes was a single family home. And then my second yes was an apartment complex. So I kind of jumped pretty quickly into apartment complexes. And that's when I learned how you can scale up so much quicker in apartment complexes.
Right. It's because your first two were owned single family homes. Your first arbitrage was a single family home.
Yes.
And then when you jumped into the apartment complex, what was that shift for you? What was the aha moment?
Well, the first apartment complex, they gave me one unit. And then they let me know almost immediately, like I think a month later, like that they had another unit opening up and they wanted to give it to us. So we were like, oh, well, that was easier than the single family home where, I mean, the owner was also like very cautious and wanted to spend a lot of time interviewing us and stuff. But the apartment, I mean, they were just ready to move, you know.
That's great. By the way, did you guys have any like a website or anything when you first started?
We didn't. So we built our website really for the large deal for the apartment complex where we picked up 12 units. And because they wanted to see our presence. So we purchased a domain name. And once that deal started, I like quickly got the website done. My brother's a programmer, so he did a really great job and made it look really clean. So we primarily have our website as like a business card. But starting out, our first 4, maybe 5 apartments and homes, we did not have a website.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a big question that we often get. It's, do you need a website? And about your guys' website, I believe it's Angie Stays, is it?
Yes, Angie Stays.
Who named it? Because to me, it sounds so homey. It sounds so endearing. How did that name come about?
Should we call her? It's our dog.
Oh, really?
Angie. Yeah, we'll see if we can get her on camera, but she's our little Chiweenie.
She was here earlier.
And
I'll go grab her.
yeah, she's her dog. We love her. And so we just thought, let's just name it after her. Because we also thought it was wholesome, right? Like you said. So it just seemed like a grandma's name, maybe, or I hope no one's named Angie in the audience. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, but we decided to name it Angie Stays, and it's kind of cute, I think.
Oh, hi, Angie.
So she's our CEO.
Yep.
Great. Great for the shareholder meetings.
Yes.
Great, guys. So now at this point, you've got your first apartment complex. And one of the things that we've noticed, especially with, our past shows, Josh Fletch, Christian Bowman, all people that you recognize in the student group, is that there's 2 things that happen when you start doing rental arbitrage. Once around you get to that 3rd or 4th unit, things start to move really fast. The momentum, you catch the wind in your sales. And the other thing is, it doesn't take long before you make just one relationship, one key relationship that really starts changing. And that was no different for you guys.
Definitely true. Yeah, we were building up more like 1 at a time or 2 at a time. And then we found a problem that needed to be solved, which was this apartment complex had a huge vacancy problem. And it was partly because of COVID. And so we sold ourselves as a scalable solution to them, and really, we're able to put ourselves in their minds as their like solution to their vacancy problem. So that ended up being a big deal for us, where, we've been running there since March. And to close that deal, we started in September. We started talking to them in September or August, and we closed it in March. So it actually took a long time. Yeah. A lot of like legal things, and they had their lawyers like look over the leases multiple times. And so, but it was worth it in the end, because here we are now.
And did you just use Sean's lease, the master lease that he provides, or did you guys kind of have your own that you use for that deal in particular?
So actually, I submitted that lease, but they had their lawyers draft up a new lease. So they had their own whole thing written up, and yeah, double checked and drafted it and everything.
Gotcha. And then when they came back to you, did you guys get it reviewed through a lawyer?
We didn't go through a lawyer. We just kind of poured through all of the little statements one by one. I did. There were some things that I kind of combated at them, and they were really flexible. Their lawyers were willing to work with us. So that was a good sign that I saw, because they were willing to build their lawyers for drafting up this lease, so that way we could partner together. So I saw that from them as a sign of commitment to us. So the moment I noticed that, I started giving them a little bit more energy and attention.
That's great. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, your first batch of deals with them, was it 6 that you got off the bat?
So we had a schedule. So we started off with 4 for the first week. And then 3 weeks later, we got our second 5. And then they wanted to wait until they had their leasing schedules done for the new year. So that just finished up recently a month ago. So we just picked up 5 more. And then I think we're going to be getting 3 more from them, actually. So it's going to end up being, or 2 more maybe. So it's going to end up being maybe 16 total that we have from there.
Exciting, exciting stuff. What was it like for you guys when you're now going from setting up 1 property at a time to now where we have to get almost 10 properties in the next 2 weeks?
Oh,
Talk to us about that process.
That was just insane. I'd never, like, I don't know if I really thought I would be prepared for that, but I remember when doing it 1 at a time, I was setting things up, myself for the most part, doing my own like painting or hanging up paintings. Oh man, when it came to 5 at once, like I got so many steps in on my watch. I was just getting like 15,000 steps a day running around, and then realized I just can't do it myself. So I hired a team, got a team of handymen, 2 handymen. They were my rock stars, really helped put it together. And then cleaners as well. So that way we could deep clean the unit before the final photography. So it totally changed like how I look at setting things up. And now, like, in the beginning, it took us a month for a first unit to set it up, which is kind of embarrassing to look at now because we're setting up 5 units in like 2 or 3 weeks, max. And yeah, so it's I'll never be that slow again.
Last week we interviewed Roger Chan, who had accelerated growth. And what we're actually kind of seeing is that, if you really put your heart and mind to this, within the first 12 to 18 months, you can blow up an entire business rather quickly. Has that kind of been the time scale for you guys, a time horizon?
Yeah, so we started the course maybe a year and a month ago. And right now we're sitting at potentially 22, 23 units.
Right.
So I would say we grew pretty quickly. It's not where we thought we were going to be. When I joined the course, I assumed maybe it would take me 2 months to get 1. So every 2 months, 1, and 1 year I'll have 6. That was my thinking. And I'm so grateful to see, that we've been able to take a hold of this opportunity and grow. What's that saying, when they make hay?
Make hay while shining.
Make hay while
yes.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say no to more properties, so yeah, really glad we're here now.
I literally have my planner, and it was January of 2021. And I was just writing in there, and I was like, by the end of this year, I really like to see us at 10 properties. And we get maybe to June and we already have like 12. And I was like, oh my goodness, like we already exceeded our goal and we still have 6 months left.
I'd love hearing that. That's literally going to be my next question, was what did you guys imagine this being? And obviously the answers, you've blown past it by leaps and bounds. Have you guys thought about where you want to be next? Where have you guys risen the bar to next?
So our next goal, we still want to continue expanding in our current market. I also think that there are other markets that have been untapped. And so my goal is, I have a couple markets in mind, really looking at the Midwest, and really want to find a place where there's an opportunity to get 20 to 30 Airbnbs or short-term rentals, similar to like what we did here. I would really like to keep growing. I think the first steps for us are probably really solidifying our team here, feeling like we have everything going really well, maybe getting a cleaning lead, because that's something we don't have. And then once we do that, going to Illinois or maybe some other states in the Midwest and seeing what the potential is there. And I have a couple markets in mind, actually, that I'm looking at.
Wonderful. I'd love to talk about growth, especially in terms of teams. We find that mostly once you start getting the bulk deals, it just feels like naturally the very first hires is the people that come and put the house together. Was that kind of on track with you guys as well? Or how did you guys structure those new hires?
So our new hires were definitely handymen, because they are instrumental for us for putting these units together, slapping paint on the walls, hanging up things. They're the reason why I'm here talking to you instead of setting up those 5 units.
Right.
After that, the key instrumental hires are cleaners. Every time we had a new round of units, we would hire at least 2 more cleaners, because we would really need that to keep the ship running. So that's one thing that I'm always hiring right now, is looking for more cleaners. So that way we can improve quality and really like keep the ship afloat.
Wonderful. And how about for yourselves? How have your guys' roles really evolved from day one to where you both are now?
Yeah. How would you say they've evolved?
There was a phrase that Mo had introduced to me pretty recently, and it said, as you expand, you need to be comfortable working on your business or working for on your business rather than for your business.
Yeah, rather than in your business.
Yeah. And honestly, when I heard that, just kind of coming from a background where in different facets of my careers, I've had to do almost everything. And now just kind of letting go and giving those reins to someone else and teaching them the steps to do kind of the quality of work that you're looking for. It's really freed up time for us, and it's changed our day to day from, like, me making the beds and him hanging up the picture frames. Now instead we moved toward like us doing guest messaging, and we've actually recently given that responsibility to another member of our team.
Incredible. How are you guys learning in terms of growing the business and leadership? Is it more books? Is it more podcasts? Because I know you're both very active in the coaching group for last year, but now you guys are moving past that 20 unit plus. Where does the learning come from now?
So Sean's advice in the mentorship course is really instrumental for me approaching our cleaners, actually, like leading our cleaners, leading our team. I definitely took a few leaves out of his book. From there, there were some books that were recommended to me from him. And so I'm in the process of reading those. A lot of those. Multipliers was one that I'm currently reading. And so just really looking to develop that leadership skill, because that is new to me. I've never ran my own business necessarily. I do have business experience. My previous job was sales. She's worked in hospitality, but as far as running our business, that's totally new. So still exploring and learning that, but books is my primary go-to right now.
Great. How about yourself, Chandi?
I would say a lot of learning, I would echo, is books. Right now, what I do is a lot of the design work. So as soon as we secure a property, that's when I go in and I choose paint colors. I choose what is the type of feeling that we want this guest to feel when they come in. Something that I learned when I worked in hospitality was, at the end of the day, when you work in somewhere like a hotel or an Airbnb company, you're essentially just selling a bed. Like, that's all it is. You just want to sell a place for someone to lay their head when they're taking rest. Now, what makes someone come back to you is the experience that you give. So just kind of hearing, one is horror stories of people visiting Airbnbs or hotels and learning from that. Another thing too is just learning as much design or homemaking as I can, because you want that home to really feel like a home to your guests.
I love this because when Airbnb is art in the science, that's the art. It's crafting that experience. Chandi, have you started to bring out your guys' own DNA, your guys' own design values that you have to have in each one of the properties?
Oh my gosh, yes. The first instrumental element of our design was definitely the bed, right? Because I would say the top three things that people really go to for Airbnbs versus like a hotel is, one, the bed, which you're going to use a bed at both. Two is definitely like showering. You're going to have to like cleanse yourself at some point. And three, what sets Airbnbs apart from a hotel is the kitchen. So those three foundational pieces, when we started off, I was like, I don't care how much it costs. I need the bed, the shower, and the kitchen area to be absolutely phenomenal for our guests to really enjoy their time here.
I love that to the max. It's something that's so forgotten. It's something that's, hey, let's just rush, get to market, and we'll make all of our money on the arbitrage of the stays. I love how you put so much thought into it, because it's true. It's those little things. It's the continuation of the guest experience that makes them really think, wow, I don't even have this at home. This is amazing. Something I have to admit right here to the entire internet is that my washrooms, they suck. Well, they don't suck. They're clean and they have little amenities, but I don't have, it's not a great experience in my shower. So what are some tips that you guys put in terms of the bathroom to make that 5-star experience?
I would say one is your towels. People love a soft, cozy towel. This is a premium. This is actually something that I'd like to start rolling out at our nicer properties, is a towel warmer. So if you're able to invest in one of those, that is just an amazing experience for guests.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And if not, just a nice plush towel. Usually places like Costco or Target has amazing deals on them.
Yeah.
Something else too is the mat that you step on when you get out of the shower, making sure it's nice, plush, memory foam if you can, and anti-slip mats in the showers and tubs. People really notice that, and guests do take kind of notice to seeing how cautious you are as a host.
Yeah.
Wow.
We also do a cool little towel design in the bathroom as well. So you can YouTube them and teach your cleaners to do it. But those are actually a great win because you just come in, it's a great experience to see like a swan or like a fan in the towel.
Right, or like a little elephant.
Yes, exactly.
That's really cool. Moving forward here about the expansion, what's interesting is I think just over the last summer, you got another single family homeowner. Now, single family unit. Was that recently or was that last June?
You mean the one we purchased or the one we rented?
I just remember there was a post somewhere where you guys had successfully negotiated about 6 weeks of free rent from a single family landlord.
That's right. Yes. So it was actually our very first property. It was so exciting. He bought a new property that has a pool, and he bought it for his family, but he said, "Hey, I can't move into it for 2 years. Can you rent it out for us?" We said, "Sure." So now I have a rule now, and especially with the way the economy is going, I don't take any properties that won't give us a minimum of 4 weeks of rent. So that's mandatory for me from now on until maybe who knows. But yeah, so I told him that, and he said, "Well, I'll give you 6 weeks." And the negotiation, I did have to stick to my guns a little bit with homeowners. I noticed it's more difficult, but I stuck to my guns. I know he knows the value because I've been working with him for a year, and he agreed that it made sense.
I love how you've taken that stance where we don't take any property without minimum 4 weeks free rent, because we get a lot of new people who join either our ecosystem, the YouTube, or they call in for a strategy call, and they say, that's impossible. I don't know why any landlord would give us free rent. And here you guys are saying, well, we don't take any properties that don't give us free rent. So I love how the evolution and how students, when they understand that, just because in the beginning it sounds kind of crazy, when you have the right strategy, when you have the right blueprint, not only are landlords happy to give you 4 weeks, but they can't wait for you to get in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about knowing our value and realizing that, yes, we are benefiting, but the landlord is also benefiting. And it is a win-win relationship. And for me now, if I can get my entire staging budget back, it's a significant investment, right? For all the risk that I'm taking, if I can get it back within the first month and a half, that just makes it a more sweeter deal, and I'm just willing to take it more. So I think it's worth waiting for that.
Amazing, amazing guys, amazing. One of the things I think you guys are starting to move into is hiring VAs. Have you guys got your first VAs on board yet?
We do, yes. Shout out Stephanie, in case she sees us soon, but she kicks butt. She is the reason why we're able to enjoy dinners again and go out on vacation every once in a while. So really grateful for VAs. We're actually going to hire a second VA as well. So hoping to get like an assistant VA, but that is so instrumental. I think after 10 properties, the messaging became really overwhelming. And I think once we hit 15 properties, that's when we decided we needed a VA.
Wonderful. So could you explain to our audience here, what is the role of Stephanie and what does she cover within the organization?
So she actually takes on more than just the guest messaging. What we allowed her to do is basically see like which aspects of the business she wanted to take on administratively. And she's comfortable handling our revenue data extraction, our guest messaging, as well as cleaner scheduling. So she was able to handle all of those administrative tasks for us.
Excellent, excellent. And that kind of leads, we've never talked about this before, but a relationship while working together. Is it tough? Is this working well? What was that journey like working together as a couple?
It's definitely the best relationship test, right?
100% is.
Yeah, you can
Um,
expand on that.
yeah, I knew from kind of an early age, I would say around like, maybe 12 or 13, I always wanted to have my own business. And my parents have their own business and they work together as a husband and wife team. So seeing that, I was like, I really want that for myself too. It was really lucky because Mo and I met at work.
Mhm.
So we kind of started off as coworkers, and it's just kind of an extension. We're working for ourselves now. But we learned that we work really well.
Yeah. I think we do really well. Communication's big. Getting stressed at the same time really is interesting because obviously any business has its stressful moments. And I think we really like handled it well together. Like if one of us is really feeling the pressure, the other one kind of, allows me to let off steam or vice versa. So I think I love it. I mean, I think it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has this been something that's just been very natural for you guys, a natural ebb and flow where, hey, if Shandi's kind of stressed today, let me jump in, and vice versa? Or is it something like you said before, communication wise? We're both stressed. Let's take a quick timeout, do a quick powwow so we can both get back in the game.
Yeah, I would definitely say communication. That's been big. Having a really clear list of responsibilities that you're going to take care of as well is really awesome, because then it's like, okay, I know I don't need to worry about this because she'll take care of this, or vice versa. So communication has been key for the whole thing.
I think something too, regardless of if you work with your partner in a business, or rather this is like your business partner, if there ever is maybe a misunderstanding or a moment where you don't really quite see eye to eye, once kind of that steam has cooled off, you're able to look back and say, why did this escalate? Why was this communication dragged on further than it needed to be? And then the next time something like that happens, you're able to talk through it a little bit easier, so that over time, it does feel more natural to you guys.
That's true. Yeah.
That's great. That's really great framework for anyone who's out there is trying to start the company with their significant other. Rewind this exact part here. It's going to take you guys really far. So you guys have built an incredible business, 20 units in over a year. That's pretty darn fast. Do you mind if we talk about revenue and what you guys where you guys have gotten the business to?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So revenue wise, we have actually split the units up amongst both of our profiles. So I don't have the data numbers with me exactly. So I might be more comfortable talking, or more able to talk about profit, because I've kind of been looking at monthly profits.
Perfect.
If that's okay. So I think looking at our profit, we're going to be hitting about 350K in profit over the next 12 months, starting from March. So basically this year we'll probably hit 300K.
300K in profits. Absolutely incredible. Now, has that given you guys the freedom to go full-time Airbnb, both of you?
So she has left her job now. And my plan is, really hope my employer isn't watching this, but potentially maybe soon, I think I will be going full time. I mean, it's only natural. I want to give my full effort and time to this business. It is kind of difficult balancing the both. So my next move is definitely going to be going full time. And I think it'll make things a lot more interesting.
Well, it's absolutely incredible what you guys have done. Shandi, congratulations for going full time in your business. Can actually see the glow in your cheeks. And for people who are out there right now who are, let's just say they're stuck in their 9 to 5. And what we find is most people we talk to is they actually love hard work. They love applying themselves to something, but they just are sick and tired of asking their boss of when they can use their free time and for how long.
Yeah.
And they maybe have doubted it because they've never started a business much like you guys. What kind of advice would you have for them that were apprehensive, on the edge, but doesn't want to risk it all on an Airbnb business?
Well, the risk isn't too much, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if you're working while you're building up the business, and and using your spare income to do so, rental arbitrage is fairly risk-free because it's not like a house you're buying. I would say just do it. I mean, go for it. It is absolutely terrifying to think about that you might be doing the wrong move, losing your money. But if you do the market research properly, you will know what you're getting into, and it'll be worth it. It was terrifying for me because, you know, I did not know how to run my own business. I'd never done that before. I really think if you don't have business experience, Sean's course will really break it down for you, because that was instrumental for me running, knowing what to expect and all the obstacles that were coming my way. I was quite prepared for once I started actually doing the course fully.
Very cool. How about yourself, Shandi?
Well, my dad has a saying that he used to say to me all the time when I was younger, and I never understood it because I was like maybe 6, and it makes a lot more sense now. But he would always say, you can't jump with one foot on the ground. So whatever you're really aiming to do, whether it's pulling the trigger and purchasing a course like this, or whether it's leaving your 9 to 5, you have to reassess your confidence in yourself and your ability, your own knowledge, and see, is it a smart decision right now to kind of take that leap? Or are you eventually just going to make this decision later? And if you are going to make it later, does it just make sense to do it now?
Yeah, just pull the trigger now. Honestly, it's not worth waiting.
That's very insightful. To your point about you can't jump with one foot on the ground. Did you guys have an idea or a target that you guys decided on prior to starting on Airbnb? Like, hey, let's go for this. Did you have a big goal that you're hitting for, or was it just, let's just build this and go with it?
Yeah, 80 to 100K per year was my goal to basically decide like I would be okay to quit my job and be able to have, or at least have like a backup for my career. So that was our big goal. And that's kind of, we basically hit that pacing wise within 6 months or less. And probably 5 months, we realized we were like making enough a month to hit that.
And looking forward, what are you guys looking most forward to? And I want to ask you both separately, because Mo, you seem like the technical one, very technical, very pragmatic. And I feel like Shandi, you're very much the arts, where you're looking more of the brand, the experience side. What are you guys looking most forward to as you guys are expanding into the Midwest and beyond?
I'm really excited for more multi-unit deals. I think that the return on that time investment for like the sales process of it is just so much better that I'm really excited to get something else like that. I'm excited to get more apartments in another like single apartment complex as well, because that just makes things a lot easier. Yeah.
I'm really excited to kind of expand our locations. When we had our first unit in Chicago, I got really excited because I just thought, well, when I have friends and family visit here, that's a home of mine that they can stay in. So just kind of like expanding that overseas. And, you know, we're still very young in our relationship in our life. So as we grow and like as our other families, like our relatives kind of grow too, it'd be really fun to kind of extend that home to each other.
That's incredible. That's really incredible, guys. I love your story. I love what you guys are doing. I'm going to get your brains thinking now. I'm going to throw some quick questions at you, see what you guys come up with, okay?
All right, we're ready.
So for Mo and Shandi, if you had a time machine and you could go back to your first selves before you bought the first house, but you only had 60 seconds to talk to yourself, what would you tell your young self?
Okay. Oof, that's tough. Okay, well, let's just say, hey, I know you're about to buy this house and it's going to go really well, you know, if you decide to buy it. I also want you to know that there's other things that you can do with that money to really, really multiply it even faster and generate more income and revenue. I think that you're going to do really well with what you're doing. I'm really excited for you to kick ass in this business. Don't give up. Go full foot in. Jeez.
A pep talk.
Put me on the spot.
Shandi, how about you got 60 seconds to talk to your young self?
I would tell myself put 5% down instead of 20.
Yeah, that was a big.
Why is that?
It tied up a lot of our capital very quickly. And it was our first time buying a home. So we assumed the more money you put down, the better it is. But we would have been totally fine just doing 5%.
Yeah,
Especially with arbitrage in play here.
Totally.
Awesome, guys. How much, by the way, how much does it cost you guys to launch a unit now?
So right now we've been doing a lot of 4 bedrooms lately, and our budget for that has been, so these 4 bedrooms come furnished actually. They have the base furniture and we just do all the decor and stuff after. So with all of that in mind, it's about $6K per 4 bedroom. And then if we were to do a whole unit, for example, we have like a 1 bedroom that we're furnishing, it's about, it won't be more than 2K.
Gotcha. So you guys, if you use that same 90K that we talked about at the beginning of the show, now you're launching anywhere from 12 to 18 units at once.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, we're still going to purchase properties. Like we're not going to stop doing that if the numbers make sense and if we have spare capital. But our primary focus is arbitrage. I mean, the numbers just make way more sense for that. The flexibility makes way more sense for that. So yeah,
absolutely amazing. My math was completely screwed up there, but I think we're pretty close to how many we're launching here. Okay, back into the quick draw numbers here. Your business is exploding. What keeps you up at night now?
Cleaner satisfaction is a big one, and cleaner quality. That's something that as we've grown so big, I've been putting more of my time and attention on. I want to make sure that we don't ever drop our quality. We've been doing well with the reviews so far, which I'm grateful for. I want to make sure that our reviews don't ever drop in quality either. So those are things that keep me thinking about the business right now.
Gotcha. Chandni, same thing?
I would say yes. Something else that also keeps me up at night is because I focus so much more heavily in the creativity side of the units. So it's just kind of thinking, how am I going to design this next unit? How am I going to make myself more versatile with different properties that we could set up in the future? And I guess, sometimes you'll kind of run into a creativity block. So it's just kind of, I don't know, relearning some of those patterns and trying to make yourself as unique as possible.
It's been really great that she's really passionate about design. Not a single one of our units have been the same. So we've had a unique design for each one of our units, which has been really fun to see. And I think it has helped in marketing.
Oh yeah.
Your designs are fantastic. I love what you do. It's not the feature walls. Everyone knows feature walls, but you have accents that really bring rooms together. The decals you do, I'm not sure if they're decals or the way you're painting the walls. Some of those designs just absolutely incredible. You got a great eye.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I can't see your work, Mo, but I know that I know it's running like a peach.
Yeah, I'm more the back end, running the operations, but definitely the interior design, all Chandni. I mean, she kicks butt, and really glad she's passionate about it.
Yeah, clearly you guys are absolutely kicking butt. What is the biggest challenge that you guys are facing? In other words, where is it that you're learning something brand new? We know that every stage of the business, as it grows, you level up and then you're back into the deep waters again, the beginner's mind all over again. What is it you guys are facing right now where it's completely brand new and you're almost level one, day one all over again?
I would say that VRBO is a brand new platform.
So damn confusing, VRBO.
Oh, geez.
It's so damn confusing.
Their pricing is so like going from one unit on VRBO to like now I'm trying to put all 20. I wish they had a multi-calendar. That's a good thing. So that's another reason I'm looking for a second VA so I can have someone manage the pricing on VRBO. But learning how to use VRBO properly, how to get past all the scammers that end up, trying to book our units from there. That's big. As we're growing in units, I really want to focus on our marketing, make sure that even as we enter slow season, which we're about to, that we're going to be able to stay filled. So that's a new experience that I'm learning as well.
I would say something that I still feel very level one on is, I guess, managing a team And I wouldn't say too much like managing a team, like you go to this house and clean like this, but rather kind of managing some of the day-to-day things that our cleaners go through. As we know, there ends up being a lot of cleaner drama for whatever reason. And it's just kind of navigating that water where you have two very strong cleaners. However, they don't like to work together. And when you need them to work together, it's how can we, make this project happen in a way that you guys aren't going to pull each other's hair out.
All very typical of the growth phase here. So guys, I want to thank you very much for coming in and welcome us into your home and giving us a little peek behind the curtains of an incredible business that's absolutely growing at breakneck speed. Where can the audience find you guys, whether it's personally or where they can take a look at Angie Stays?
Yeah, we're not really big on social media yet. We don't really have an Instagram for Angie Stays that we've been building out. Our website is angiestays.com. If you want to connect with me, I'm on Facebook. That's the best way to connect with me, and add me, full name, Monish and Chandni. And yeah, that would be it. I'm really not big on social media yet.
I think that's your next project, is to get an Instagram built up and have somebody manage that, so that, Instagram is basically just a virtual business card now.
Yeah, that's true. You're talking about day one. That's definitely something that we are
That
brand
is,
new
yeah.
to.
Social media.
Yeah, we have personal social media, but not business social media.
Right. Well, guys, I want to thank you for joining us on the show today. And for everyone who's joining us here today, remember, this is our brand new show. We do it every single week where we talk to hosts just like you. And we get the story of how they started from 0 units, scaling it to tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars per week. My name is Donnie Wong. You can catch me on Instagram at Taking Lunch Money. And I want to thank you guys once again for joining us, Mo and Chandni. Thanks a lot, guys, and see you next week.
Thank you.
See ya.
Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you.